The Johnny Carson Show with Jack Prince, Dr. Samuel Hoffman, and our special guest star, Dorothy Shay. Starring Johnny Carson.
Thank you and welcome to the show again, ladies and gentlemen. We have an exciting show for you tonight, a very fine show, we think. And I'd like you to meet just some of the people who are going to make this a memorable evening, I'm sure. Right over here is the nightclub and recording star, Miss Dorothy Shay. And this is our singer and dancer, all rolled, and no easy job it was, into one, Mr. Jack Prince. And if Clark Gable, Grace Kelly, Alan Ladd, Marilyn Monroe, and Esther Williams show up, we have seats for them, too. Actually, I want to introduce our first guest tonight, is the world-famous musical artist. He is the man who not composed, but he scored the background music for Lost Weekend and Spellbound, Dr. Samuel Hoffman. Dr. Hoffman.
Good evening, Johnny.
Doctor, I was under the impression you were going to bring your musical instrument with you tonight.
Well, this is it.
This is a musical instrument?
Sure.
Well, will you want to tuck it under your chin and play something for us?
Johnny, it's not that kind of an instrument.
Oh, it's not?
See, this is a theremin. It's an electronic instrument. And you produce music or sound by waving your hand into an electrical field.
Sounds like Margaret Truman in a cold shower, doesn't it? Gee, that's wonderful. Oh, guys, we just wave your... I've been taking lessons on it either. Doctor, where was the last time you played this?
Well, I just completed the score to the picture The Day the World Ended.
You know, that's a very appropriate sound for The Day the World Ends. I mean, on that day, who's going to be particular? Does it do something else? Can we play a little...
Well, sure, we can play a song with this very easily.
Well, lay a few bars on us, will you?
Glad to.
Yes, that's pretty amazing, Doctor. Can I try this?
Sure. Would you like to try something? Only don't put your hand up to the antennae.
This is the antenna?
Yeah, move it to and from, see?
What do I do when I finish? Just
Well,
keep
just
warm, or do I pop up?
Well, let's try it. See what happens. An arpeggio, please.
Sherry North's old films. What did I do wrong? Huh? Let's finish this up here. I think I got it now, Doctor.
Hold it. Stay with it.
this would work with a vocalist. Jack Prince, would you come in? It's our vocalist, Jack. Shake hands with Dr. Hoffman.
Hi,
Doc.
Jack, how do you do? Glad to know you.
sounds like hell of trouble in a cold shower.
I just said that about Margaret Truman.
Well, Helen Travel takes cold showers, too.
Not as cold as Margaret. Well, it makes no difference anyway. I want the doctor to company on the number.
Oh, I'm not sure my number's arranged for radar.
We'll try it anyway.
Would you like to try something? What would you like to do, Jack?
You know 16 tons?
What key?
E flat.
Good. Let's kick
Let's
off.
go. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and... No. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day...
Hold it. What do you play this thing on, Doctor?
110 volts.
Well, that's the trouble. Take a look at Jack. He needs at least 1,000. Yes. This thing will never be a success till you can get bubbles out of it anyway. Look, I tell you what. Why don't we go find a 110-volt girl?
All right, let's do that.
Good.
AC or DC?
Oh, what
Make
about
it-
my song?
Yeah, how about...
You load 16...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet our guest star for this evening, Miss Dorothy Shay.
Life used to be a gay thing, filled with happiness, night and day thing. It was something to have and to hold. But it seems that your love grew cold. I never knew that our romance had ended until you poisoned my food.
Dorothy, Paul, wait a second. Dorothy, I want you to excuse me. You know, I know this is a terribly rude thing to come in and interrupt you in the middle of a number, but there's something I've always wanted to explain to the audience, you know. I'm sure that the people watching often wonder how we go about selecting a guest star, a singer, to appear on our show, you know. On the surface, I mean, seeing you up here singing seems perfectly natural. You just go out and ask someone to be on the show. But everybody should realize that all performers, or especially singers, you know, have to have a lot of struggles and come up the hard way. And I thought it might be interested to tell a little success story tonight. And, of course, this is a success story that hasn't been told before. It's about a young girl who fights her way up from childhood to become an older girl. And the central figure in the story is you tonight, Dorothy.
Well, thanks. Although I don't really feel that my life is interesting enough. Yet.
Oh.
I'm working on it.
Oh, good.
Actually, it's been pretty dull, Johnny. You know, if I were ever in a situation where my whole life flashed before my eyes, I think I'd be inclined to turn to another channel.
Dorothy, you shouldn't say that. You've had a very exciting life, and I think I can prove it. We'll go back and go through your life.
Oh.
Right from the beginning. It all started in a small hospital in Kentucky. Little Dorothy Shay had just come into the world. What were her little baby thoughts? What ran through her little baby mind as she lay there in the basket?
Well, here I am. I've been in the world 5 minutes. Where do I go from here? Gee, look at all those people staring at me through the glass window. Maybe I'm a television set. No, I couldn't be. I'm in a basket. I know, I'm groceries. Uh-oh. She's lifting me up and putting me on a scale. Now I know what I am. Salami.
It was 2 years before Dorothy found out she was not salami, but a little girl. So realizing this, she took the string off her head, climbed down from the hook on the pantry, and went out to play with the other little children. Now, at the age of 6, Dorothy started to school. And it was a typical little Kentucky schoolhouse made out of old moonshine barrels. Every morning, they'd take the corks out and let the children in. And right back at Dorothy sat a little boy by the name of Johnny Huckleberry.
All right, Dorothy, we're going to take our first lesson, the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, Now, repeat. A, B.
Don't tell me.
Come on, Dorothy.
Well, it's my first day. Don't push me.
Little boy in back of Dorothy, can you repeat the alphabet?
Certainly. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Well, now you know that so fine. Perhaps you could teach it to little Dorothy. Have you met her?
I knew her when she was a salami.
Are you a boy?
Well, certainly.
Do you shave?
No.
Then how can you be sure? What are you going to be when you grow up?
Well, I want to be a professor at Harvard. What do you want to be?
Ooh, I want to be a great singer with my name in lights and be able to give out autographs.
Yeah, well, if you want to give out autographs, you got to learn the alphabet first. Come on. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
That's right.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Ah.
Well, that little lesson certainly paid off for Dorothy, too. Today, if you walk up with an autograph book and ask her to sign her name, she'll sign her name. A, B, C, D, E. But we're jumping ahead of our story. You see, before Dorothy reached the top, she had to take any job she could get.
You advertised in the paper about a job?
That's right. Are you willing to work hard?
Oh, yes, if it's honest. My parents taught me to always be kind and good and always do what a lady should. This is a prepared statement and not necessarily the opinion of Dorothy Shay.
Fine. You start tomorrow. Plumber's assistant.
Well, you know, even being a plumber's assistant wasn't too bad. You see, Dorothy's big break came when she got a call from a television producer whose sink had stopped up, as they often do. And as Dorothy was working, she broke out in a few bars of the stuffed-up drain-pipe mambo. And when the television producer heard this, he immediately signed her. Gee, Dorothy will never forget the night that she became a television star.
You're on, Miss Shay. All right, now. This is it.
Darling, you look lovely tonight.
Yes, and after only 7 days. I wonder where the yellow went.
Dorothy, you were magnificent.
Johnny Huckleberry, where have you been? What have you been doing?
Well, what I've always wanted to be a professor of Harvard. Didn't you notice the gown?
Yeah. Are you sure you're a boy?
Look, Dorothy, I love you, and as great as you were out there tonight, I want you to give up show business and marry me.
Oh, I can't marry anyone now. I have my career to think of.
Look, Dorothy, it's either show business. You have to choose. Give up show business or come back to Harvard with me. Which is it going to be?
Show business.
Well, why?
Well, because there's no business like show business. Like no business I know.
You mean everything about it's appealing? Yeah. Everything the traffic will allow.
And nowhere can you get that certain feeling when you're stealing that extra bow.
Well, I guess there's no people like show people. They smile when they're low.
Even with a turkey that you know will fold, you may be stranded out in the cold.
And Dorothy decided not to give up show business and go back to Harvard, which is probably just as well because if she'd gone to Harvard, she'd have to have a crew cut, and she just doesn't take her. So what happened, Dorothy Shay became a big nightclub and recording star, and she bought a fabulous penthouse on Park Avenue.
Beg pardon, Miss Shay, but dinner is served.
Oh, my favorite. Corn pones and chitlins.
Shay, you have a gentleman caller.
Show him in.
Dorothy, I couldn't wait to see you. Somebody left this on the door.
Let me look at you.
Yeah.
I see you're still wearing a gown.
What do you expect me to do, run around in my slip?
Are you sure you're a boy?
Look, Dorothy, I've come back to plead with you for the last time. Give up show business and come back to Harvard with me.
Johnny, I can't. I've reached the hog's back of fame. I've received this award for my acting. You see, it says right here, for the greatest performance of the year, this award goes to Miss ABCDEFG.
Yeah, I know. Look, Dorothy, I guess I can't ask you to give up show business, so I'm going to give up Harvard. And join you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I got into show business, became Johnny Carson, star of The Johnny Carson Show. On whose show tonight, my guest happens to be Dorothy Shay, whom I happened to interrupt about 10 minutes ago when she's singing, so she'll sing it.
I never knew that our romance had ended until you poisoned my food. And I thought it was a lie when you kicked me in the park. But now I think it was rude. I never knew that our romance had finished until that bottle hit my head. Though I tried to be aloof when you pushed me off the roof, I feel our romance is dead. It wouldn't have been so bad if you'd told me that someone had taken my place. But no, you didn't even scold me. You just tried to disfigure my face. You'll never know how my poor heart is breaking. It looks so helpless, but there, life used to be so placid. Won't you please put down that acid and say that we're sweethearts again? Oh, how well I remember that night in Bridgeport. That was the night you gave me the hot foot. I thought there was sort of a strange look in your eyes, but then you smiled and made everything all right. Then there was a time we went canoeing and you set fire to my dress. You said you pushed me overboard to put out the flame. I never understood why you held me underwater so long. Now, I've never met the girl who's taking my place, but I wish you all the happiness in the world. And if there's anything I can do, you can reach me in room 304 in the General Hospital. Farewell, my sweet. You'll never know how my poor heart is breaking. It looks so helpless, but there, my love can go just so far. Won't you please put down that crowbar and say that we're sweethearts again?
I'd like to thank Dr. Samuel Hoffman, Jack Prince, and Dorothy Shay for being with us. Dorothy, come on out and say goodnight, will you? Thank you very much. We'll see you in 7 days, and don't forget the 7 delicious flavors of Jell-O. Good night. Good night.
Tune in again next week when the Johnny Carson Show will be brought to you by Jell-O, America's favorite gelatin dessert.